tell you guys, you know, rough around here. We got the crypto markets. They're tanking. I might have to go back to playing hockey here. You know what I'm saying? Can you guys see me at all? So in today's video, folks, we are going to be taking a quick look at Bitcoin, and we are going to be doing an in-depth market review. That's right. We are going to be looking at some very high-level indicators that I've never shown you guys before, but I know that you've seen them. So let's get into BTC. Let's get into Luna, UST, ICP, CKB, VGX. Let's roll this. Alrighty then, folks. Let's get back into it. I think I've really messed up my camera here. There. Now I fixed it. We are looking at Bitcoin, folks. It's going to get freaky. If my chair would ever stop misbehaving here, we can get started. So what we're going to be doing in this video is going over Bitcoin's history at a super high level, because I've been getting a lot of questions. Where does the bottom start? Where does the bottom stop? The correct answer is we don't know, but what makes us better than the other channels is that we can speculate better than they can. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you guys on Bitcoin, this is a daily chart, is the heat map. And this is a 200-week moving average heat map. And I find this very interesting because it appears that all the best buys, at least in the past, have been when we start to see this cool blue start showing up on the heat map. So we can see that a lot of times, and in a lot of cases, we have price action move down to this 200 moving average on the daily chart. And this is something that I've been talking about for the last 6 months. If Bitcoin's going to crash, it's going to go down to $20,000 to $25,000. And I remember I've been talking about this since July of 2021. And I've been getting a lot of people that have disagreed up until about now. So with that said, folks, it's no surprise that we are seeing Bitcoin and this 200 moving average start to drift downwards, and this 200 moving average really start to cool off. Now, this other thing is called the Bitcoin Investor Tool. Now, as you guys can see, some of the best buys that you could have made in the past run-ups were when prices were below this lower green line. We can see back in 2015, this was the optimal zone. And back in December of 17, that is when prices peaked. And that's perhaps when people should have exited their positions. Now, getting back to this, we can see December 2018, we had this little nice run-up happen, blah, blah, blah. We didn't quite make it. We had the whole coronavirus thing going on, and it was just nutso. So with that said, we had the coronavirus, brought prices right back down below this green line. And that was a perfect buying opportunity because price came right up to this red line. And here we have it. It retraced. So where are we at right now on the daily chart? Well, we're below this green line. So I don't know what your strategy is, folks. You guys need to figure that out for yourselves. We can look at the same data. Ultimately, you're going to be the one to really make the decision. So if I had to play my own hand here, not telling you guys to buy, sell, anything. This is not financial or trading advice. However, I'm going to try to bring on an actual financial advisor who handles about $50 million worth of portfolios. We'll see. I kind of bounced it off him, and he was kind of iffy. But what we can see is that when prices went down below this green line, that was great buying opportunities. And so eventually over time, a year or two, we saw incredible returns. let's just say you bought the coronavirus dip at $7,200, right at the line. You would have had a return of 800%. So you would have 8x your money, which is phenomenal. So here we are, and we can kind of see that prices dipped below this green line. So I hope this is a good visual for you guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Also, smash that like button as well if you like this type of content. We are doing an in-depth look at the market. So let's just go ahead and we're going to really break out everything. We're going to break out everything. What's interesting here is when we look at this growth curve, Bitcoin has really done a nice job in the past of coming up and really testing this upper band as well as this band here in the middle, the median line. And we can see how Bitcoin tested it here, tested it here. Really, it kind of tested it right in here and in here as well. So here we are, folks. Bitcoin is kind of doing the same exact thing that it's doing in the investor tool. But we can see that when we look at this log growth, we can see that prices never really stick too far underneath this lower trend line. So I'm hoping that we get a halfway decent bounce relatively quickly. I mean, here we ended up staying below this line. I mean, technically for 51 days, maybe up to 221 days after that crypto dip. So there's your answer as to where the market could possibly be as far as a turnaround is concerned. You know, really, we're looking anywhere between 50 days. It could be 2 days, all the way up to 220 days or longer. It could be a year. We could see Bitcoin do something that we have never seen happen before. So we'll turn this off. Let's look at the golden ratio multiplier. And this really is a great way to gauge where things are at. Now we can see that right now, Bitcoin is hovering below this very bottom trend line here. And so that's an interesting thing to see, because whenever we get below this trend line, we can see how the price reacts afterwards. So we kind of have a gauge as to when the price could pull a little bit of a reversal. Let's go ahead and turn this off, and we'll look at the Bitcoin stock to flow oscillator. Now, this is something, folks, that really, really interests me. And what we can see here is that if I go here and throw a couple trends from this low here, and then from about this low right here, we are somewhere in the middle. So this is telling me that, hey, we might see a dip similar to this right here back in 2015, 2014. We might see a dip similar to this 2019-ish dip as well. We are just really on the verge of these two levels, and we are in between these two levels. But for now, I do think that there is a good chance that we could see market recovery relatively quickly. And I say relatively quickly, within 1 to 7 months, 8 months. That's just a guess. Nobody knows what's going on. But really, statistically, these have kind of marked the bottom of these major dips. We can see that Bitcoin retraced heavily, and this was the dip, and then it pulled a reversal. And we can see that when it came down to this level here, this was the bottom. And we saw Bitcoin kind of flirt with it again a couple months later, but ultimately we saw it take off. Even the coronavirus dip here wasn't that bad. People think it was bad. It wasn't that bad. So I think everybody remembers last July's summer dip. What a nightmare that was. Well, we saw price go from 31,000 up to make new all-time highs at what was it? 69,000. So here we are, and we can see that price action could possibly be gearing up for a dip reversal within the next month or two. We just don't know. But this is a great little metric here to kind of gauge previous bottoms. So, right now, Bitcoin, in my opinion, could possibly be close to really trying to find the bottom. And that's a fact, Jack, not financial advice, but we can see this because we got the oscillator here and we can draw these nice trend lines, which have found the dips in previous instances. So let's go ahead and we're just going to run through all the cryptocurrencies that I like. And we're really going to look and see at a super high level which one each or which each one has to offer, what each one has to offer. My goodness, folks. So we'll look at Bitcoin's market cap dominance first. And you guys can see I've kind of been working this chart a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this. Now we can see that Bitcoin, I'm expecting its market cap dominance here to quite possibly subside a little bit. And we have been kind of forming this little falling wedge. And this is a falling wedge. And I'm bullish for like this July, this August, somewhere in there, that we might see Bitcoin dominance completely take over things. We're not going to really look at ETH too much because it follows Bitcoin. And here is Nervos Network, folks. You guys can see I've been working this chart. I really haven't been reporting. I said I've just been so busy with life that I haven't been able to sit down and make a good video till tonight. What I did here was I threw up a Fibonacci channel, and we can see how nicely price action really plays within this channel. So I do think that if this downward trend for CKB continues, and this is the worst of the worst, 0.003612. But we can see a few different things here. Number one, that, bear with me 1 second here, price action. Okay, this is not good. Price action is really tumbled below the 786 on a grand scale. Let's see if this makes a difference. No. So right now, CKB is in price discovery mode to the downside. I think that we are seeing a little bit of support levels around this 0.006-ish level. And we know this because we can see these two peaks here, a little bit of support in this area as well. And this is right at that 0.006-ish level. So this is at about the 61. What would this be? This would be the 382 to the downside. So if this was a Fibonacci retracement, this would be a 382. Right down in this 0.006. Oh, no, this would be the 50% level. Sorry, folks. This would be the 382 right about here. This would be the 61.8. So 0.0057 would be the 61.8. It might not be a half bad spot for a retracement to go down to. Let's move on to another one. Let's look at ICP. I've been talking about ICP. I got a shirt on. I've been creating content now for them for over a month. Things are going awesome. But I do think that this is one of the more underrated cryptos out there. And I say that because they're about to release smart contracts on internet computer that will basically integrate Bitcoin into the ICP blockchain. So you'll be able to throw down a smart contract on internet computer that will control Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. When we look at the launch down to the first swing low, we can see that if we deploy Fibonacci time sequence on these two spots, we get a very nice layout of time sequence in hindsight, meaning that we have a reversal here, a reversal here, a reversal here. And I've been telling all my viewers, everyone, Watch May 14th for increased volatility on internet computer. I am hoping that is the day that we bounce, and it should be an interesting prediction to say the least. I've had a couple people fighting me on that, but I did speculate that we would see ICP head on down to about $10.28. So it turns out that I was about 50 cents out. And I was making that prediction sometime when ICP was at about the $16, $17 ish level, right around this April 11th to April 10th or April 20th area. So this is going to be interesting. We need to just hurry up and wait on ICP. I've been loading my bags on it. Let's get on to the next one. Excuse me. Let's look at Voyager token. How about that? So let's look at Voyager token to the US dollar. I have been kind of keeping my eye on VGX. As you guys can see, the 127, the $3-ish area. If this area doesn't hold for Voyager token, this is not financial or trading advice, folks. But I do think that we will see Voyager token drift on down to the 67 cent-ish level. If that happens, and I hope it doesn't, just be prepared for it. Now, interestingly enough, when we start to throw down Fibonacci time sequence on Voyager token, we're seeing a lot of similarities between this cryptocurrency and ICP as far as price action goes. And we can see that Voyager token is prepping for a possible reversal somewhere around May 12th. And if you guys remember, ICP is prepping for something around May 14th. So when we start to see these time sequences across the charts in different cryptocurrencies, telling us that, hey, this date or within these days, there could be something going on, that's usually a good indication that these time sequences are more accurate than not. When we look at this in hindsight, we can see that it predicted increased volatility here, a reversal here, a reversal here. So my guess is that we would likely see something like that in here. So I'm hoping that we don't get another drop off down to the 67 cent level. But when we look at this on, let's just go to a 4-hour chart and see what exactly is going on with this. Man, it almost looks like it's trying to form some sort of bear flag, possibly a symmetrical triangle off this. It's just kind of in this goofy little setup. So time sequence on Voyager token, May 11th, 7 p.m. Central Time. Open up your phones right now and enter that information in. Put increased volatility VGX. That date and time. Let's go ahead and look at Luna, because Luna is in a very interesting situation right now. And I know that Luna and UST kind of feed off of each other. So in yesterday I put out a tweet when Luna was sitting at like $36 or something. And I said, if Luna falls below this $25-ish level, we're going to see some serious issues. And sure enough, we saw this thing dip all the way down to $13.64. But I want to highlight something to you guys. And I don't understand the hype behind Luna, because we can see that they had like the most incredible pump. And I was talking to Crypto Airborne about this, but really from the bottom, this thing pumped 114,000%. And then it looks like it dumped 88%. So by definition, what exactly is a pump and dump? Now, I also threw out a tweet that said, hey guys, we've got this incredible rising wedge on Luna, and things are about to get significantly worse because this is a gigantic rising wedge with crazy, crazy gains. 3,000% gains in a very short period of time. So when people start to ask me where Luna can really turn around or where the bottom is, this is a very complicated matter simply because UST and Luna really thrive off of each other. So one takes, one gives, and vice versa. If UST is trying to maintain that peg at $1, it's going to print more Luna, driving the price down, which gets more buyers involved. As price goes up, it's easy to maintain that dollar peg, and we really see Luna start to burn. So it's kind of we see the tokens start to burn. That is, so it's a very love hate relationship between uh, Luna and UST. Now, I want to just go ahead and say that let's just say the worst isn't over. Let's just say Luna can't recover UST and cannot maintain that dollar peg. It's going to go down and it's going to die trying to. And what does this mean for Luna? Well, we're going to see UST start printing hyperinflation. A super hyperinflation event happen with Luna where we're going to see so much Luna enter the ecosystem in order to maintain that dollar peg. That's just, man, that's going to drive the price down so much. It's not even funny. Luna was trading, folks, at $118 a month ago, and it hit what is this, $13.68 today. Man, it's going to be interesting. So where do I think this is going to go? Well, if we end up with that hyperinflation event, we're going down to zero. And really, we might not go to zero, but we're going to come back down to this 20-cent range until they can get their act straight and figure out a solution. But simply right now, I'm not touching this. I've never really been one to try to catch these falling knives, things like that. But you can see if if Luna violates this 141 here and drops below that and can't recover, the next Fibonacci uh, retracement is like way down here at minus $1.85. Obviously, it's can't go to minus $1.85, but it can go to zero. And so I think that we would see price come down to $3.74. I think that we'd see price come down to $1.71, then down to $1.61, 41 cents, possibly around this 18 cents. And if it goes lower than 10 cents, folks, after making new all-time highs at $120, my goodness, I feel sorry for the people that bought the last, I don't know, year and a half and are still holding. This is a very unfortunate situation. But now we are going to look at UST because, like I was saying in a tweet to somebody, it's not often that we get to do technical analysis on a stable coin, right? So this is what it is. It is what it is. And let's just look at this at a super high level, like the 15-minute chart. Okay, so what do we have here? This looks like a hot dumpster fire for sure. But there might be some sort of head and shoulders pattern that could be forming here. Now, the one thing I'm struggling with here is, quite frankly, a solid neckline. So we would need to see UST really kind of break down to the 62 cent levelish again. And if we do see that, be on the lookout because things are about to get wrecked. Let's just go ahead and get rid of some of this Bitcoin stuff here. And we're going to go ahead and throw up some of my faves, the Ichimoku Cloud. And then we're going to get some moving averages in here and really bite into this UST chart to try to figure out where this thing's at. And this thing could very well just be in some crazy little pattern or holding pattern. We just don't know until we just take this quick second to find out. So bear with me, folks. Do appreciate all of you guys being with me tonight while I'm doing this. If you guys could smash that like button, I would totally appreciate it more than you guys know. I just want you to know that I am here for you in the bear markets and all that, even though I haven't been able to really get to a computer because, like I said, I've been shooting weddings and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, traveling since last Thursday. So it's just been killing me that I haven't been able to sit down and really hammer something out for you guys. We're going to pull up the relative strength index because I like that, right? Right now, we can see that Luna is kind of testing or coming up to test this 50 moving average. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw this peg for UST maybe come up to this 87-cent level before drifting back off. I don't know how many people are willing to take the risk on Luna and UST right now. Personally, I am not willing to take the risk. I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. This is what it is. It's a gambling situation. So if you want to gamble, gamble. If you don't, then don't. But I do think that we're seeing on a hourly chart how people are selling UST off as soon as it hits about that 85-cent ish level. Let's look at this on more of like a 12-hour chart. Now, this is unfortunate. And we are really kind of seeing this symmetrical triangle that could quite possibly be forming. The best news is that RSI and stuff is pretty much in the tank. It was down to about 1.32 out of a scale of 100. And that is insane. So that's probably the lowest RSI that I've ever seen on a coin that's supposedly legitimate. And I know Luna, a lot of people think it is, and I think it is. And it's a top 10, top 15 coin, maybe not now, but we can see this bid and ask price jumping around like crazy too. So there is some heavy volatility happening right now. I just saw the bid in the look at this 92 cents at times is the bid price. So let's just go ahead and throw up a little Fibonacci retracement to see where this thing fell to. And it did look like this is the 786 ish level. And there might even be some possibility to run a Gartley pattern on this. So let's just take the time to just check it out because I don't know if anybody else has. So let's just say this thing comes right up and the 786, man, is right up here by where this 50 moving average would be. We'd be looking for the 127 down here or the 161.8, which would be down around 50-ish cents. So let's just go ahead and see if UST even has a what is called a bullish Gartley forming. So for this, we're going to need Fibonacci time or Fibonacci extensions. And what we're going to do here is say that price can really, bear with me, not exceed this 93-cent level. If it does, great. because that will put this whole theory possibly to rest. But right now, we are seeing point C somewhere in this Goldilocks zone as we speak. Now, usually when I'm looking for point C, I want to see it in between the 61.8 and 786. Now, here is an interesting candle wick and stuff here. So typically, I'm looking for the 786 somewhere down in here. And usually the rule of thumb, folks, is that we don't want to see this wick down really past the 786. So we're going to go ahead and throw this up. And I mean, really, folks, this might have been a super quick wick because it's the 20-minute, but we're seeing the body come right down to the 786. So I'm not going to rule this out. This could quite possibly be some sort of bullish Gartley pattern. I say bullish because we're trying to catch that falling knife. I wouldn't recommend it, but perhaps this is where price might be going. So let's just go ahead and get rid of that, because what I'm going to do now is try to find, I'm going to measure right from this body, and we're going to do this a couple different ways. So we might see UST come down to around the 62-cent level, possibly in a good scenario, down to that 56-cent level on a bad scenario. So like I was just saying, if this thing drops below 60 cents, this thing could be hurting pretty bad. Oh, man. So I'm hoping that this doesn't happen. We're going to throw a little Fibonacci time sequence out as well. We're going to measure from this swing low up to this swing high and see if we can get any time sequence up in this area here. So let's do that right now. And this looks like it's been pretty accurate. So watch UST May 11th, 1 a.m. Central Time. Here's this May 11th stuff that I've been telling you guys about. Voyager token, May 11th. We're talking ICP, May 14th. All these dates are starting to kind of line up. So watch for a potential increased volatility or a reversal of some sort, May 11th, 1 a.m. Central Time. Now, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and tomorrow we will bring back some more regular style programming covering specific coins. So if you have any specific coins that you want me to cover the next 3 days, next 4 days going into the weekend, let me know in the comments so I can go over these coins for all of you. It might not be right away, but it might be within a couple days later or in a live stream that I do. So I hope you guys are really hanging in there during this huge drop off, and my heart goes out to everybody. I'm going through the same thing as everybody else. I haven't sold. I've been personally adding to my bags, which has been great. So I've increased my position in CKB. I've increased my position in Yokai Swap, and I've increased my position in Internet Computer. And those are my 3 top holdings right now. So if you guys haven't already, please smash that like button. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video I threw together for you guys. And we'll see you guys all in the next video. Stick around for the end screens because I've got some great videos that you might enjoy to boot. We'll see you guys all on the next video.